Dear secondary students, it's my pleasure to welcome you all to a new lesson of English which is entitled Conservation. Definitions. Number 1, conservation. It's a noun. It means protection of something. For example, the conservation of the natural environment is very important. معناها حماية البيئة. Number 2, volunteer. It's a noun. It means someone who works without being paid. متطوع. For example, this campaign needs a lot of volunteers. Number 3, species. It's a noun. It means a group of animals or plants. For example, there are many different species in this forest. Number 4, challenging. It's an adjective. It means something that is interesting but difficult to do. For example, this game is challenging. It's too difficult. Number 5, inhabitant. It's a noun. It means people who first lived in a country. السكان المحليين لدولة. For example, the inhabitant of this country is about 2 million. Number 6, biodiversity. It's a noun. It means the variety of plants and animals. التنوع البيئي. For example, we should protect the biodiversity in our environment. Now let's see the questions. Choose the correct answer from A, B, C, D. Number 1, the elephant is one of the endangered species of animals. Species, species, spaces, prices. The answer will be species. Number 2, energy, space, become very important lately. Waste, expedition, conservation, opportunity. The answer will be conservation. Number 3, Sarah found a very space job as a computer programmer. Challenging, specific, useless, wasted. The answer will be challenging. Number 4, protecting space in the forest is necessary to keep the natural balance. Conservation, challenges, preservation, biodiversity. The answer will be biodiversity. Number 5, he lives in a city with 3 million inhabitants, contacts, experience. The answer will be inhabitants. Read the following passage, then answer the questions. Book your conservation volunteer trip today. Are you interested in conservation? Are you ready for a new challenge? If your answer to both of these questions is yes, we have some excellent volunteer programmers for you. A, New Zealand. Come to New Zealand and help us preserve the country's unique biodiversity. You will plant trees so that endangered birds have a far better environment to live in. You will also help us monitor changes in various plant species in different areas. Another slightly more challenging task is cleaning beaches and helping to run recycling centers where local people can bring their waste. 21 days, prices with flights from $3,799. B, Thailand. Here in Thailand, we have involved in caring for elephants who used to take tourists on rides around the big cities. You will monitor these elephants' progress as they start their new lives in the forest to make sure that they are healthy and happy. These unique and beautiful creatures love to play with our volunteers almost as much as they love having a bath in the river with them. 14 days prices with flights from $2,599. C. Brazil. Brazil is well known for its amazing biodiversity. However, the native inhabitants of the Amazon face exactly the same threat as the rainforests. They are also fighting for their survival. You can help the native inhabitants to preserve their languages in digital form for future generations. What is more, you can apply for a scholarship for the costs of this rewarding trip. 16 days, prices with flights Greater Cairo. Reread the passage. Are these sentences true or false? Number 1. In New Zealand, you will help protect trees and plants that can only be found there. Is this sentence true or false? This is true. Number 2. In New Zealand, you can help ensure that local people won't leave waste on the beach. This sentence is false. Number 3. The project in Thailand aims to help elephants be healthy again. This is true. Number 4. The elephants you can help in Thailand have to work in the tourist industry. This is false. Number 5. In Brazil, you can help local people preserve the rainforests they live in. This is false. Number 6. There is money available to help you pay for the trip to Brazil. This is true. We have the comparative expressions. Comparative expressions means the expressions that we use to compare between two things. We use exactly the same as to say that there is no difference between two things. The first expression, the same as. It means that two things are the same. Example. Number 1. Your bag is exactly the same as my bag. Number 2. My father does exactly the same job as your father. Also, we have almost as or slightly than. We use almost as or slightly than to say that there is a small difference between two things. We use them to express difference between two things. Examples. Number 1. I am almost as tall as my brother. Number 2. We are almost as good at math as you. Number 3. The trip to New Zealand is slightly more expensive than the trip to Brazil. This sentence means that there is a small difference between two things. We have also far than. We use far than to say that there is a big difference between two things. For example, number 1, in my opinion, working on a farm is far more interesting than counting plants. Now choose the correct answer from A, B, C, D. Number 1, the new car is space more expensive than the old one. Far, slightly, A and B, very. The answer will be slightly. Number 2, Marwa is almost as space as Hippa. Oldest, older, old, the oldest. The answer will be old. When we use as, we put the adjective as it is without comparative form. Number 3, Uncle Omar is space the same age as my father. Exactly, exact, far, slightly. The answer will be exactly. Number 4, protecting space in the forest is necessary to keep the natural balance. Age, young, old, A and B. The answer will be age. Number 5, my bag is the same space as yours. Big, size, young, far. The answer will be size. Now we have come to the end of this lesson. Thank you and see you later in the next lesson.